Lose that fat, Smith. This is what I heard all through my second year at university. Lose that fat, Smith. And I wasn't fat. Okay, I was 5'10", let's say 172. And I was training, I was working out a lot, but I was also enjoying the college life, and that entailed much drinking and cavorting and zero care about diet. And the athletic director, so I worked in the athletic, sorry, I worked in the athletic center at U of T, University of Toronto. And I had a great job there. And it was just a fantastic experience because I was basically at the gym all the time anyway, with my workouts and playing basketball and, you know, just a lot of squash, soccer. I played indoor soccer, outdoor soccer. I did it all. And the assistant athletic director at U of T one day came downstairs, and when I was in the shower, and he said, "Smith, lose that fat." And he wasn't joking. He was serious about it. He was trying to shame me. And so I went and looked in the mirror. I had no thoughts that I was fat. No way. I looked in the mirror and I was soft, I was a little soft. It wasn't crazy, but I was soft. Now this guy, he was 6'1", 185, ripped, jacked, handsome. He had it all happening. All the girls, I mean, he's probably 38, but all the college girls really liked him. And he was full of, what's the word? He loved to tease and to push and to belittle others, let's say, but with a smile generally. But with me, it was lose that fat, Smith. And I heard it for a year. And it bothered me, but I didn't really take it seriously. But I did start to amp my workouts. I started to run more. I started to play more squash. I was still lifting weights. Anytime you do a lot of squash and running while you're lifting weights, you're gonna hurt your gains. And I didn't know any of this at that time. I didn't have any adherence to diet. In fact, in 1981 or 82, when this was happening, we didn't think about diet. It wasn't talked about. There's no internet. We had Muscle and Fitness. But honestly, I thought, there were guys that were definitely ripped. I wasn't. My veins were not popping. I just thought it was genetics. Just some guys are lucky, they're vascular, and they put muscle on faster, and it was just my genetics. And in looking back, that was a pure cope. That is not true. It is not true at all. So if you're blaming your genetics, it's just not legit, man. It's something that we have to take ownership of our bodies. And yes, some guys are more vascular than others. Some guys are born with smaller hips and wider shoulders, but all of us can be better. And that was definitely including me. So he was my personal bully, this guy. And he didn't let an opportunity pass without saying, "Lose that fat, Smith." And just like that. It was not a funny thing for him. I mean, he did smirk about it, but he would just reinforce your fat, lose that fat. So gradually, without me really working at it that much, other than doing more squash, I might have foregone my second bowl of cereal, Captain Crunch, at midnight on those nights when, I mean, again, a college guy, you're at the pub and then you're home and then you got the munchies. And I was definitely abusing all of it. But he was my personal bully. And it kept up, I'm telling you, it kept up for at least 12 months. Lose that fat, Smith. Lose that fat, Smith. always. And then his friends, who were also rather studly, they would say it too. And they'd kind of laugh at me when I was, we working out so hard. But eventually the weight came down, and about a year later, I weighed 164. I remember because I weighed 164 for decades. I was 164, and one day he came up to me after I had worked out, and he said, "Good job, Smith. You've done it. I'm not going to say that to you anymore, unless you get out of control again." So the question is, I mean, he was bullying me by today's standards. In those days, it was jocularity, and that's what Trump has. When Trump said, he's going to take over Canada, it was like the guy saying, "Lose that fat, Smith." I mean, he was just teasing me and pushing me to be better. And when Trump said that, all our lefties up here took him literally and started freaking out. And when he saw that, he just kind of kept poking, right? Just kind of kept saying it. And he would take us if we went to him, if us Canadians went to him and said, "Yeah, we'd like to be part of the U.S." Of course, he would take it, and we'd work it out. But that, that wasn't his plan. And Laniste, this guy, my athletic director, he knew that I'm not fat relative to the average person. Relative to the average person, put a t-shirt on, I look pretty damn good. But to him, as an ex-Lithuanian basketball team player and one of their top players, and it's still a great athlete, and being jacked, and the fact that I worked in the athletic department, he did not let go, and eventually I did it. And I still use that words to myself when I'm looking in the mirror, especially in the middle of the winter. I tend to get a little heavier as I'm doing heavier weights and stuff. When it gets to March or so, I'm like, lose that fat, Smith. Lose that fat. And I think it's really handy if you've got your own personal bully, so who pushes you and makes you better through, I don't know, is it tough love, or is it just guys being guys? This is what I grew up with, and we all did. So if you're still carrying an extra 20 or 15 or 10 or 8 or 5, lose that fat. Lose that fat, John. Lose that fat, Cedric. Lose that fat, Kareem. Whoever's watching this, there's no excuse. It's not your genetics, right? That's a total cope. Just become, wow, wind. Just become, more demanding of yourself, and don't let yourself off the hook. Just lose that damn fat. Here we are. It's June 11th. We're coming right into the beautiful season where we're going to be outside. You want to be proud when you take your shirt off. So think of it from Smithy Fitness. He says to you, lose that fat, become better than you are, and don't give me that bullshit about genetics or age or anything else. Just lose the damn fat. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.